Any doubts? Okay, so let's move further. While we're talking about tokens, and a relative example is being provided here with respect to a programming language or some kind of a statement. I can see the if you remember the token types in the programming language, these are the token types like constants, any keywords like if, then, else, or for, int, keywords are there, relational operators are there, identifiers, numbers, literals, like many kind of a token. The moment I'm thinking about a token, what is the lexeme? You can observe const is a token, so that means it is a keyword. So for the keyword, the lexeme is the same, const, and the pattern is const. So the lexeme and the pattern, if they both matches, and it is coming under the category of the token keyword, and the token name is the same itself, const. Similarly, if is the token name. But while you're talking about a relational operator, we are having multiple lexemes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Less than, equals to, greater than, equals to, sorry, not equals to, greater than, and greater than, equals to. Right? So these are the lexemes. These are the patterns. So any lexeme matching in any one of the patterns will generate a relational operator as a token. Then talks about an identifier, token as an identifier. So pi, count, d2 are some samples of lexeme where pi is a variable, count is a variable, d2 is a variable, right? So one can it be called as an identifier if this element are matching with a pattern. The rule says letter followed by letter and digits, letter followed by letter and digits, then it is being getting matched along with the pattern. So if any one of these element matching along with this particular pattern, then it generates the token, and subsequently the rest can be specified. So any numeric constant, so numeric constant says either there are certain rules like an integer constants or floating point constants or exponential constants, anything can be matched. If it is matched along with any of these elements, then we can call as number. And literals, anything within these double quotes, any character between these two double quotes are called as literals. So that can be called as an literal. So these are some samples which I have shown what could be a possible lexeme, what is a pattern, and what could be the specific tokens for those elements. So this is a relationship between token, lexeme, and a pattern. Moving further, one more example here. I can just see lexeme and token. So what is the token? Index is a lexeme and token is the identifier. Then equals to is a lexeme. Then this is an equal to sign is the token. 2 is an lexeme, then it is an integer literal, right? Or integer element. Then star, it's a multiplication operator. Count, it is an identifier. Plus, it is a plus operator. 17, it is an integer literal. Semicolon, so it's a semicolon. So likewise, we can also specify the lexeme and the tokens against it. This is the sample example relating to that. Now we'll talk about this lexical error in a later stage when it is going to happen and how exactly the compiler is going to handle that. But ideally, we would like to look on to the specification of the tokens, how exactly the tokens are getting specified, right? Before we move on to the token specifications, right? Token specifications, it's all about describing regular expressions, then the operations and the languages, then the regular definitions, because all these elements will lead to your non-deterministic finite automata and deterministic finite automata and proceed further. That is what exactly is going to be specified. But now let us have one example. How exactly a lexical analyzer, a manual example, how exactly a lexical analyzer is going to read the source program and is going to identify the tokens, assuming that all the patterns or everything is available. right? All the patterns and everything are available. So let's take an example. Now let's say this is a statement. How many tokens you are expecting that it should generate?
Sir, can you please repeat your question?
How many tokens it is expected to be generated here?
8.
8, sir.
So let us count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So it is something like I equals to B plus C minus D semicolon. So it will be an identifier. This will be equal to sign. This will be another identifier. This will be addition. This will be another identifier. This will be subtraction. This is another identifier. This is a semicolon. So these are the tokens, right? Now let us assume that you are the lexical analyzer and you are reading the source program. This is the source, and you are expected that you are supposed to generate these tokens. Okay. Now you have started reading from the first element and from the extreme left, and you have gotten this is stored in the memory location. Okay. Let me put it in a structural way so that it is easier for you to understand. Let me take it in a bit more larger way. I equals to A plus B minus C semicolon. Now you are supposed to start reading it from here, and every character is stored in one location. And the moment you are reading I, once the read head is going to move from the left towards right. That's the basic process in a memory location and the tape wise structure. It is reading from the left towards the right. Okay. Now start reading and tell me when you have identified a token. At what time you have identified a token?
The moment it went into array.
Just see, you have to, by the process, the lexical analyzer has to read the source program. Okay. The lexical analyzer has to read
Yes,
the
sir.
program character by character, and it has to identify the tokens. This is the basic objective of the lexical analyzer. So accordingly, you have to tell me.
So lexical analyzer gives the token to parser, and again
No,
it will.
you're not getting my question. My question is, you have to read the source program, assume that you are a lexical analyzer, and tell me at what point the first token will be identified, at what point the second token will be identified, because we have said there are 8 tokens, right? Isn't it?
So the first token will be identified when a request will be sent back to the lexical analyzer from the yes, sir. Lexical analyzer from the parser.
Okay, that is okay, that is fine. Okay, but the moment you start reading it here, initially the first token has to be given by the lexical analyzer. I'm least bothered about the request about from the scanner. The scanner, sorry, the syntax. Syntax will give me a order, or give the lexical analyzer an order that token will be generated. Now, when the token will be generated? When you have identified a lexeme. First of all, the lexical analyzer has to identify the lexeme. Then the lexeme has to be compared with pattern, then the token will be generated. Forget about who gives a request. Assume that a request is reached to the lexical analyzer to generate a token, right? And you have got this read head here, where currently you are supposed to start reading the identification of the token. Now, what is the first token you are supposed to identify?
Identifier.
Identifier. I as an identifier. Now, to identify I as an identifier, how many characters I am supposed to read? The moment I start read at this particular point,
One.
I'll read the first character, then I move forward. I have read I. I have read I. Now, my current input pointer is here. Should I stop? Stop reading.
No, sir, we have to read till end.
No, no. The moment you are identifying a lexeme, you have to stop before you read to the next lexeme, because there are many tokens. Obviously, our final stoppage will be at the end, but every time whenever a lexeme is being read, then a comparison happens with the pattern and the token is generated. Now, my question is, should I stop here and say that my lexeme is identified?
Yes, sir, we can see that lexeme is identified.
Okay. Now, please tell me, if that is the case after one character, then what will happen for this? I'm just putting another example. I, N, T, A, comma, B, semicolon. Now here again, I have given you a task.
Okay, so they have to be of same type. When a different type of lexeme comes, then they have to stop.
No. So the moment you are thinking about identification of the lexeme, as you are saying very closely, but the moment it is identification of the lexeme, it is a sequence of characters. Sequence of characters, if you remember the definition, sequence of characters expecting to form a word or a token, expecting to form a token. Now this sequence of characters can be identified by reading from the left towards the right until you find a delimiter. Now what is a delimiter? Delimiter is a character which is very, or which is different, which is different than the current set of characters read. Hello. You call me after 11? Current set of characters which are currently read. Now, what exactly I'm reading? I'm reading an I, right? I'm expecting that the moment I read an I have started to identify a lexeme. I have started to identify a lexeme, and in parallel, we are also in process of finding a pattern. We are also in the process of finding a pattern. That means the moment I read I here, or the moment I read I here, this will start identifying which of the patterns or which of the rules are starting with an I. Right? Which of the rules are starting with an I? Now, the moment the rule starting with an I, is it only single character? Obviously not. It might be a single character. It might be more than one character. So definitely, the moment it starts with an I, it will search for what is the next character. Right? What could be the next character? So based on that next character, which is going to be read, in this case, it is equals to. And in this case, it is int, in. The next character is int. So equal to will ensure that this is a different aspect and it's a pattern is already being found. The moment I have read equal to, the pattern is already being found as an identifier. But the moment I read an I after an N, again, there is a scope of another character to be read at this particular point. So this set of characters will be read until you find a delimiter. Delimiter is maybe a space, maybe a comma, maybe a semicolon, maybe a equals to, maybe a plus, depends on the current current pattern which is getting matched. Depends on the current pattern which is getting matched. Please try to understand what exactly I'm talking about. Now, what happens the moment I have found a pattern matched here in this case? What happens? Now, my read pointer is present at this particular point. I have only identified I as an identified because my pattern of I is being found. Now, from where next I'm going to read? I'm going to read from this particular point. In the process, we have skipped this equals to because equals to is being dealt as an delimiter. The equal to is being considered as a delimiter, which separates one token with the next token, right? So by which we have skipped or we have ignored unintentionally, we have ignored one of the token which may be very vital for your program. Are you getting it?
ये नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. So why we ignored such equals to?
Ignoring now the moment assuming that this is a memory space, having a tape store the input, say what is the content? I is equals to A plus B minus C. This. You have got only one read head. Which moves from left to right. It can read only from the left towards the right. This direction it will move. Okay. Now, I hope you have got that from the previous discussion just now we had. The moment we are expected to identify lexeme. When can we identify this lexeme?
When there is a delimiter.
Delimiter. We are expecting a delimiter, which may be a different character other than different characters other than the pattern followed. Other than the pattern followed. Right. So if I'm
pattern followed, the pattern followed means the previous character of the previous identifier.
Yes, obviously. Because why is it so? Suppose I'm going for a token of plus. Now plus is an operator. What could be the next element or next character which I'm reading? I'm reading a B. So now the pattern is different. In the pattern I am having a plus. So operator has got a different pattern. This character is a different set, right? So this is different. So this In this case, B could be a delimiter. Okay, B could be a delimiter. So probably you can understand once we'll go for a solution of this particular problem. But currently, the moment I'm reading it from the left towards right, I as an identifier can be found. I as an identifier can be found post reading this equals to. The moment I read equals to, right? Post reading the symbol equals to, we can declare I as an identifier. Now, what is my current read head? Where exactly it is being present? The current read head is present at this particular location, and it can again move forward. It cannot move backward. Now, if it is again moving forward, what is the next token can be identified? Where's the next token can be identified? Which element is reading now? It is reading an A. It is reading an A. Right? Now, the moment it is reading an A and found a plus, A can be got as an identifier if I am reading a plus. So the moment I reach to this particular point, I can declare A. The moment I read a plus, post reading a plus, we can declare A as an identifier. Similarly, my reader is present here again. Again, I'll start reading. The post reading a minus, we can declare B as an identifier, and so on. Now, what in this particular process, what happens? I have skipped equals to I've skipped plus, which is supposed to be a valid identifier as valid token. Equals to is a valid token. In the process, again, we have skipped this minus, which is supposed to be a valid token, right? And again, we will be skipping. Further, if we'll proceed, we will be skipping this semicolon also, which is also a valid token. So just observe how many tokens we have skipped in the process of reading from the left towards the right. We can constrain that, or we have just assumed that there is no blank spaces available in between them. If there is a blank space available in between them, then blank space can be considered as an delimiter. Okay, so this is one of the difficulties what exactly we face if we consider reading, or the lexical analyzer consider reading the source program directly from the memory location. Now, what exactly I have considered, this is the memory location or the memory where my program is stored in a tape kind of a structure. I have got a read head which can read the program character by character, and it tries to identify the tokens. Now, if we will follow this particular process, then we will be having some difficulties by skipping lots of tokens in the process. Because as the constraint is, why exactly we can skip the tokens? Because the read head cannot move bidirectionally. That is one. The constraint is it can only read from the left towards the right. So unidirectional it is going to move, and the moment it is skipping means it is already skipped. It cannot be identified further. Fine. So for that particular purpose, the lexical analyzer utilizes a buffer. The lexical analyzer utilizes a buffer. Okay. Now, let me give one more typical example on that particular aspect. Just wait. Okay. Now let's let me give you an typical example why exactly we are talking like that in that particular process. Now, if you remember some kind of a statement I mentioned, let me write it down. This is a typical statement which I mentioned. Okay. In C programming. Now, what are the tokens?
print.
So print is
Yes, then opening and closing brackets, then double quotes, semicolon.
great. Now, in this case, suppose this is a function in a C program. It's a function call, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, great. The moment it starts reading P, how exactly the lexical analyzer works? It starts reading P, the first character is being read P, and it searches for a pattern. Let's say there is a pattern. It searches for a pattern where P is starting point. Now P is being found as a starting point. What is the next character? R. So from P, the next character could be many alternatives. Many alternatives, because you can have identified like P or P1 or PP or PX, could be any kind of an character composition could be happen, right? So it will take one of the alternatives. So let's say this is the starting point P, and it has got many alternative, out of which the next alternative is R. That means it will move on proceeding in the path of R. So rest of the alternatives will be considered null and void. Then again, it will go for an alternative from R itself. This is the path through which the lexical analyzer is expected to identify the tokens. Now, the moment it is an R, right? What is the next character? Out of the alternatives, again, it will go for an I. The next character, because I'm reading an I. So the rest alternatives will be ignored here. So I'll be reaching to I. Then from I, again, the next alternative is in N. Okay. Then N, again, the next alternative is T. Now from T, what are the other alternatives? Very common alternative was being found with T. It has to read the next character, because till now we do not know whether we have reached to the last point of the lexeme or not. So it has to reach to the next character. The next character is being found as left parenthesis. The moment it is a left parenthesis, it ensures or it finds there is no path moving further starting from left parenthesis. There is no path moving further starting from left parenthesis. So it will stop at left parenthesis and declare the token, the lexeme is PRINT and token is an identifier. Already pattern is being matched. So the moment it starts reading one character by character, it starts matching with the pattern subsequently in the process in parallel. And the moment it finds an delimiter in the end, from which there is no other point to go ahead, it will stop there because there won't be any further paths moving from left parenthesis. It will stop there and declare that lexeme is being found, that is print, and the corresponding token, it is an identifier. Now in the process, what happens? I have reached to the delimiter. I have read this particular character already in the main memory location. I have already read. The next reading will happen only from the double quotes, by which we have skipped one unintentionally, because we are considering this program is there in the memory location and it has got one read head and it can move on only from left towards the right. That is a constraint what exactly every memory has got. The tape can read from the left towards the right. Okay, that is the basic constraint in the lexical analysis, where it has to identify a point or a character which acts as a delimiter, to stop reading further and identify the lexeme. But the delimiter, the character which has been considered as a delimiter could be a valid token also. So for that particular purpose, the lexical analysis utilizes one buffer, a buffer space, a buffer location for identification of the lexemes and tokens. So the lexical analyzer do not read the source program directly from the memory location. It utilizes a buffer which stores the source program, and the lexical analyzer utilizes the buffer to go ahead along with the identification of the lexemes. Okay, so how exactly this works? Let me talk about this input buffering, the buffering scheme of lexical analyzer. Now let us assume you are having a memory location here, original, where your source program is stored. In the lexical analyzer, you are having a buffer, right? So first, lexical analyzer will do what? It will transfer or will copy the source program into this buffer space, depending on the capacity of the buffer space. Buffer space may not be very large, right? And we'll talk about the size of the buffer space, but buffer space is definitely a limited memory location or as a buffer, working as a buffer, and it copies the source program into the buffer. And the rest of the task, identification of the lexeme and the token, is being done by the lexical analysis in this particular buffer, not here, not in the source program. Okay. Now, what is the capability of this buffer? Definitely, the capability of the buffer is much more than the capability of the memory space utilized to store the source program. So that's where the lies between the differences: directly identification of the lexemes from the source program or identification of the lexemes from the buffer space. So most importantly, whenever we are identifying a lexeme, this point is more important. We need to look ahead to determine when a match has been found. We need to look ahead to determine when a match has been found. So that's what I was explaining in the previous case, P, R, I, N, T. Till now, there is a match, but you do not know whether the next character is a character belongs to the element or not. So the moment it is a left parenthesis, once the left parenthesis is being found, then it will declare. So the left parenthesis is the look ahead, which is supposed to determine the match is being found. So how exactly this buffer works? So this buffer has got a capability having a limited space, This buffer has got 2 pointers. First pointer, lexeme begin. The second pointer says forward. The objective of the lexeme begin is to point to the location from which the identification of lexeme will start. That is the objective of the lexeme begin. Lexeme begin pointer will point to the location from which the identification of the lexeme will start. The objective of the forward pointer is to read the subsequent characters and identify the end of lexeme. End of lexeme. So lexeme begin will identify the or will point to the beginning of the lexeme. Forward pointer will point to the end of the lexeme. So whatever characters present within that particular 2 pointers will be taken out as a lexeme and will be matched along with the pattern to declare the token. Okay. So for example, that the example which I have taken previously, like I equals to A plus B minus C semicolon. Okay. Now 2 pointers, lexeme begin, and we are having a forward pointer, right? And the moment it starts reading, it will move the forward pointer from the left to right. It will move the forward pointer from left towards the right. It will read the I first, then it will read equals to. The moment it finds a delimiter, right? The moment it finds a delimiter, it will stop. And move back one character. Move back one character and declare as lexeme end. Right? The moment it identifies the delimiter, it moves back one character, moves to this particular point. Right now, my forward pointer is present here. Now, this is the lexeme begin, this is the lexeme end. Now, the match is being found and the token is being identified. Post this, The lexeme begin will locate wherever the forward pointer is currently pointing to, because this is the point where the lexeme has ended, and the next point should begin from this particular point further. Again, both the locations have been presented. Okay. So ideally, these are two buffer scheme, because one buffer scheme will lead to a little bit of confusions in that particular process. I think it's already time, boys and girls. So let me stop here, and we'll continue in the next class. Please go through the content in the net regarding the same. Any doubts you can come up, which can be discussed. So post attendance, there are lots of drops. Maybe I'll ensure in the next class, I'll take the attendance in the beginning as well as in the last.
No, sir. So it's above 5, so we have class right now.
You should have reminded me of. Okay.
Sir, I had a query regarding the application from HRC. Sir, I have filled the form and I have checked it 3 times now. I received a mail regarding that I haven't completed my form yet, but I have submitted it yesterday only.
It might be a common reminder to all.
So, but
HRC
not everyone has received it. A few of us have received that mail.
no idea.
Sir, please look into it.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
thank you, sir.